The Big Ten Championship, 12-0. Ohio State versus 12-0. Indiana, number 1 in the country versus number 2 in the country. I'm going to bet this game, and you're going to bet this game. What's the best way to bet it to make money? We're going to break that down right here, right now. Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the show. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the jungle. And hey, make sure you're subbed up to the channel because I have a video dropping for the SEC Championship game between Alabama and Georgia. You don't want to miss that. I'll also leave information in the corner of the screen how to become a jungle member. We have a free weekly trial. Take it for a test spin and see if it's for you. So we're getting right into this now. The line is anywhere between -4.5 and -6, depending on the book. Now, the line's been moving a lot. Here's the Indiana side of this game. Indiana's number 2 in the country in scoring offense and number 2 in scoring defense. And by the way, it's a little confusing when people say that. Number 2 scoring defense doesn't mean the defense scores points. It means in terms of points allowed. So Indiana's number 2 in both. They score 44.3 a game, and they allow just 10.9 a game. This is an Indiana team that takes on the personality of head coach Curt Cignetti. They have a bully mentality, they have a chip on their shoulder, and feel they've been disrespected and not given their due for the last 2 years. They play angry, and they've dominated almost all their opponents, and that domination shows in the statistics. The closest games they've played this season were a 5-point win against Iowa and a 3-point last-second win over Penn State. But are we supposed to use the Hoosiers' dominance over much lesser teams when we cap them against Ohio State? Does beating Maryland by 45, does beating UCLA by 51 have any bearing in how they'll do against the Buckeyes? I believe the answer is no. And if you look at the two teams that gave Indiana trouble, there's a commonality. And that commonality is physicality and strong line play. Ohio State possesses both those things and at a higher capacity than Penn State and Iowa does. And the Penn State team that almost beat Indiana, could have beaten them, by the way, Ohio State beat by 24. Now, I mentioned Indiana's the number 2 defense in the country. Well, Ohio State is number 1. Ohio State gives up just 7.8 points a game. I've been watching, handicapping, and betting college football for a long time, and this Ohio State defense is the best that I've ever seen. Last week, people thought that Michigan was going to dominate them in the trenches, but after that first 5 minutes of the game, Michigan and Ohio State dominated time of possession 40 minutes to 17. 40 to 17. The only movement that Michigan had offensively was in the form of 2 chunk plays. And besides those 2 plays, Michigan looked like a junior varsity team playing against varsity. Ohio State completely shut them down, controlling both sides of the line of scrimmage. Bo Jackson of the Buckeyes ran 22 times for 117 yards. And when they wanted to throw the ball, they threw it at will. Quarterback Julian Sayin, 19 for 26, 3 touchdowns, and 233 yards. The Hoosiers haven't seen the NFL talent at wide receiver that they will with Ohio State wideouts Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, and they won't be able to focus on both of them. Indiana has dominated 11 of their 9 opponents, but they've struggled against teams similar to Ohio State. But those teams that I mentioned, right, they're just an Ohio State tribute band, whereas Ohio State, every time they were supposed to, have been out-leveraged at the line of scrimmage and out-physicaled, according to most experts. Ohio State has dominated, namely against Michigan and Washington. Ohio State is a team without flaws. They're the much more talented team outside the perimeter than Indiana, and they do better than Indiana at what Indiana does best, and that's out-physical you. 2 very close calls and near losses for Indiana on the season. 2 closest games Ohio State played was a 24-6 win over Washington and another 17-point win over Michigan. No team has come within 17 points of the Buckeyes this season. I feel as though most people are looking for reasons to bet against Ohio State, to be on the underdog, and they're looking for reasons why they're going to lose instead of understanding the answer to the best way to bet and make money in this game is right in front of them. Ohio State has won 17 straight games, and they've won 16 of those. They've covered the spread in 16 of those 17. I'll say that again. Ohio State has won 17 straight games and covered the spread in 16 of them. Now, one team has come within 17 points of the Buckeyes this season. Lay the points with Ohio State, and I'll see you next time with a little more money in your pocket.